a teacher that had a real impact on me while I was at school. I mean, there were so many, but one in particular was Mr. Richard Merritt. He was a music teacher for me. He was so passionate about the subject, but also really cared about kids. And also he was really, really skillful at what he did. And so I guess he impacted me because I then followed in his footsteps and became a music teacher and came and taught at Middleton Grange School.
I think for me, it's very hard to narrow it down because there were so many that had an impact, but I couldn't not mention Rudy Jansen, who managed to have me in his class 4 years in a row. But the other one for me was probably Lynn Campbell, especially after my dad passed away at the beginning of my sixth form year. She was incredibly supportive and I'm just really grateful.
Two teachers that stand out in particular were Andy and Russell Vaughan. Both of them were passionate about the subjects that they taught. And so I think for that reason I've taken things from what they've said, and I still remember those things today, including Russell's impersonations of a tornado as he swept through the classroom, tipping over desks.
I was just so honoured and privileged to have the guidance of Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merritt and Miss Braithwaite in leading those productions and directing us and inspiring us. And I try and infuse that love of performing in my lessons for my students now, because you catch some students that way that don't get caught in conventional methods.
The standout for me is Tony Hawkins, the maths teacher, who somehow remarkably managed to make mathematics, and he never called it maths, it was always mathematics. He made mathematics very accessible to me. And not only that, but he actually seemed to really care. Even in the hard times particularly when I was approaching bursary and my mum was in hospital having a cancer operation, he was just so loving and caring, and I appreciated that and learned what it was to know Jesus as my friend through him.
Megan Cassidy was probably my favourite teacher in high school. She taught me how to just give 100% of myself to everything, just give everything my best shot. Also, Mr. McCormick and Mrs. McFarlane gave me a confidence that I don't know if I'd have in myself. And also, Mr. Bissiker taught me what the best kind of chocolate is, and also that if you really put your mind to it, you can talk about anything for a really long time.
At the beginning of school, it was Miss Crawford, an awesome teacher who loved teaching, a great story teller who gave me a passion for reading. At the end of school, Year 12, Don Capel, through his thorough understanding of history, was able to convince me of the importance of being grounded in the Christian faith and having a biblical worldview that Christ is in the centre of everything.
Mr. McCormick, he was my teacher when I was in Form 3, and he's now teaching my children. I think that's pretty special. And Mr. Van Noort was the PE teacher. I can't actually use their first names, even though it's been this long since they were my teachers.
One of the teachers that really stood out for me was Liz McFarlane. She was my Year 7 teacher, Form 1, and she was incredible because she helped me really understand who I was and really believed in me. She also encouraged me to get into acting, which I think gave me a ton of confidence as a student at Middleton Grange.
Man, I had so many teachers impact me deeply from Middleton. A lot of them have become good friends as well. One of the key ones I can remember is Miss Key from Year 8. She was incredible and just really showed me how to live out my faith in Jesus. And she was actually present at my baptism as well. She just really showed me what it was to be a missionary for Jesus. So thank you, Miss Key, and thank you, Middleton staff. You do a great job.
There was Mrs. Velopalai, who really invested a lot into us as individuals and as a group of Year 13s in the senior college.
Yeah, and we also had like the best dean ever. Yvette Gander was amazing, so intentional, so nurturing, still flicker a text from time to time, so very grateful.